Hey everyone, welcome back. Today, I want to pose a question for everybody that's played video games in the past. If you could go back to a game and play it again for the first time, which one would it be? But the more I thought about this question, the more I realized something. It's not just about the game, but it's also about who you were when you played it. Games don't hit the same at every stage of life. The right game at the wrong time might do nothing for you, but the right game at the right moment, that sticks with you forever. Now, some of the games that I'm going to be talking about in this video are known as classics. I think it's generally understood that almost everyone really likes this game or has a positive opinion of them. But these games hit me at a perfect time in my life to really help me experience and grow into the person that I am today. And I think that they just happened to hit me at the right time. And I was blessed enough to be able to play these games at that point in my life. These aren't just my favorite games. These are games that met me exactly where I was in life and ended up shaping how I remember these moments. And I really wish I could go back to feel that powerful impact just one more time. And just like these games had a powerful impact on me, I hope that you have it in you to have a powerful impact on that like button and the subscribe button if you like content like this. I really appreciate your contribution and your commitment to this channel, and let's get right into it.
Drive safely and responsibly, and wear your seatbelt.
The first game I wish I could experience again is Need for Speed Most Wanted from 2005. Now, I didn't play this game in 2005. I think I was about 11 years old when I played this game for the first time in 2008, and I played it on a Nintendo GameCube. Honestly, this game made a massive impact on me, and as a big fan of the Need for Speed franchise, I know that this one is considered to be probably the best in the entire franchise, and I've been in a big fan group of trying to get this game remade or re-released for modern consoles for many years. I was actually really excited when EA announced that it was going to remake Dead Space because I thought that could pave the way for good games like Need for Speed Most Wanted to get another remake or perhaps a new version of it. At the time in my life when I was playing this game, my parents were going through a divorce, my brother was growing up and getting ready to move out for the first time, and I guess at that young age I didn't really know how to process any of that. What I did know is that I could turn on my console, throw myself into fast cars, police chases, and an incredibly aggressive, angsty soundtrack. This soundtrack had great music like Avenged Sevenfold, Disturbed, Styles of Beyond, and songs that I still listen to today. The game gave me something that I didn't really have at the time, and that's an out.
I need your pink slip. He's dangerous. Be careful, he'll swat paint if he has to.
First I'm gonna take your ride, then I'm gonna take your girl. Get ready for that.
I could outrun the cops, I could build this car exactly the way I wanted, and I could really live a life that I wasn't able to live in the real world, and I could almost always win. When life felt chaotic and kind of out of my hands, Need for Speed Most Wanted actually gave me the out that I was looking for, even if it came in the form of speed, noise, power, and focus. Looking back, this was a very simple racing game, but it has a big mark on a lot of people for a lot of reasons. This game was special and it had a bunch of magic to it, magic that EA has not been able to recreate in many years, even though it continues to try. And I really wish that I could go back and just experience this game for the first time again.
In the area directed to clear and head up to provide cover.
Next time, you won't be so lucky.
A few years later, after growing up a bit, I encountered another incredible game. Far Cry 3 hit me at a completely different stage of life. I was older, more independent, and probably already driving, and definitely carrying more frustration and anger than I realized. I mean, I was an angsty teenager. Far Cry 3 was violent, chaotic, and empowering in a way which I hadn't experienced before, and this game was special. It had an awesome Ubisoft formula before the Ubisoft formula became mainstream, and I really think that Ubisoft tried to recreate this game in many other games many times and just hasn't been successful since. You drop into a land with nothing, and you slowly take back this island from drug lords piece by piece gradually, and it feels so satisfying. You get stronger, you unlock skills, you learn the systems, you have great weapons, you get awesome upgrades. I really felt like Jason Brody was a great protagonist, and I love how he went from a meek guy who ran away from the boss in the beginning to becoming this total badass that can take over this entire island and have armed thugs be scared of him. Far Cry 4 came out a few years later, and although it was technically better, it didn't have the same magic as Far Cry 3. This game not only had an incredible progression system, but also had some of the best writing and some of the best bosses in video game history, in my opinion. I think Voss still sticks out as the best villain that I can think of when I look back at good antagonists in video games. His quotes still ring in my ears today, even if they are cheesy, and I really think the actor's portrayal of him was iconic. He became someone that I loved to hate and wanted to hunt down, but also he was charismatic, and by the end of his story, I really just liked him. It was a bummer that halfway through the game you were introduced to a new antagonist, but Voss's impact still stays. You are actually able to play against Voss in the new Far Cry 6 with DLC, and I think that just shows how much staying power this game has and how much of an impact it made. I think Far Cry 3 hit me at a time where I was an angsty teenager and I wanted to go out and kill a bunch of things in obviously a fictional world, and it really hit that sweet spot. Far Cry 3 is a classic for a reason, but having the opportunity to experience this as a young teenager was perfect for me. And that's why when the re-release came out, I hopped on it almost immediately, and I have 2 platinum trophies for this game. I think this game is awesome, and it's nearly a 10 out of 10. If I could experience this game for the first time again, I would.
Ah, fuck! Damn!
Then, many years later, I found Stardew Valley, and this game could not have arrived at a better time. I gotta say, this game impacted me in a significant way to the point that I'm still playing it in 2025. I put almost 400 hours into this game, and I still love it. I'm not bored of it, and I think that's because it hit me at a different time. If I was 12 years old, I probably wouldn't have liked this game as much. But when I first found this game, I was starting a new job that had more responsibility than I've ever had in the past. There were people relying on me, and my decisions had real weight. I really felt like I was doing things with my life, and I felt like going through the motions in my real world life had heavy consequences. I think that as I continued forward and I found this game, it was not only an escape from my real world, but it also was a rewarding break to go into a secondary world. This game has routine, consistency, long-term planning, and an immense reward system. I remember being shocked by how deep this game was the first time I played it, and how much existed on the wiki, how many systems they had layered on top of each other, and at first it was overwhelming, but now after hundreds of hours it kind of feels like second nature. But that first playthrough, it really hit differently because I was ready for it. I wasn't looking for adrenaline or rebellion like I was in Far Cry 3 or Need for Speed Most Wanted, but I wanted something calm, rewarding, and meaningful over time. Stardew Valley met me exactly where it needed to, and I still play it today because it's a great escape, and I love going on and just building my farm, impacting the community, and having a great progression system with some really meaningful rewards. If you have not played Stardew Valley, or you're one of the people that thinks that you won't like it because of the art style or because it's not a massive, beautifully graphic game, I really think that you need to consider playing it. Not only is it a couch co-op game, which is also a massive win for me, but it's just so fun. The writing, the characters, the things you do in it, there's just so much to it, and there's something in Stardew Valley for everybody. I cannot recommend this game enough, and I really think it's worth everybody's time. The final and most recent game that I really wish I could play again for the first time is Clair Obscur Expedition 33, the 2025 Game of the Year. Now, I played this game shortly after welcoming my second son into the world, and I don't think I'll ever experience another game in the same way. At 28 years old, your perception of life changes, and it's significantly different than when you're a 23-year-old young adult. Responsibility isn't theoretical anymore. Choices carry real weight. And Expedition 33's story hit me harder than anything I'd played before, even harder than games that I deeply love. Its themes of responsibility, sacrifice, grief, and choice felt personal. I really think what draws me to this game the most is the antagonist Renoir. Renoir is a father who, after the loss of his only son, has his wife throw herself away so that way she can live with the only remnants she can find of her lost son as well. And in doing that, she also drags both of their living daughters into this fantasy world that she finds coping in. And in doing that, she causes a lot of physical harm to her entire family. Renoir then has to sacrifice his own body and sanity to go in and try to retrieve his wife and save his daughters from any further harm. This guy is also dealing with grief. This guy has also lost his child and is trying to get past it. But in doing this, he also has to carry the entire weight of his family. All of his family opposes him and tries to actively fight him as he tries to save them. And in the game, I actually found myself in Act 3 not even wanting to fight Renoir anymore, because as his motivations are revealed to you, I found myself agreeing with him automatically. I did not want to do what the main character wanted me to do because I really felt they were being childish and foolish, and this man was just trying to save his family. I don't think that there's any other game that will ever hit me as hard as this game did because of when I played it. If I didn't already have children at the time, I really don't think that this game would have done as much as it did for me. And I still think about this game almost every single day, and I recommend it to everybody that plays video games. I know without question that if I had played this game at any other point in my life, it would not have landed the same way. And I do implore that if anybody has any desire or interest in good storytelling or good games, regardless of your status as a parent, you should commit yourself to this game because of the experience that it can provide. This game is incredible, and there's a reason it won so many awards at the Game Awards, because it deserves it. Not because there weren't other great games going out, but the story behind this game, the story in this game, and the experience that you go through while playing this game all make it well worth the 2025 Game of the Year. And I would give so much to be able to experience that ending and that impact for the first time again.
We lay the trail for those who will come after. Right.
These games are classics for a reason. They're loved by millions of people, but I was lucky enough to meet them at the exact moment in my life when it mattered most. They didn't just entertain me, they helped me process where I was and who I was becoming. That's why I wish I could experience them again for the first time. These games are very special to me, and I always think about them. I would love remakes of these games. I don't think that they would hit the same way because I'm currently almost 30 years old and a father of 2, and I don't think that driving around Rockport City would have the same impact it did when I was 12 years old. But I still think that these games are incredible. I really wish I could go back and experience them for the first time, because that impact is something that you don't get often, maybe once or twice in a decade. And being able to revisit these games would not only be a blessing, but it would also be a privilege. Sometimes the magic isn't in the game, but it's in the moment that you found the game and how that game impacted you. I really implore you guys to go check these games out if you haven't already played them, because they're just something special, and I think they're games of a generation. Regardless of if they're in your genre or not, I really think you should go put yourself out there and try these games. But please, let me know in the comments, what games would you like to play again for the first time if you could? Are there any games that hit you harder than you expected them to, or are there any games that you really wish that you had never played? Please let me know. I want to discuss this because there's some really good art out there in the form of video games, and I think that they're worth discussing. I can't wait to talk to you guys in the next one, and I can't wait to read what you have to say down below.
Nice pinstripe.